Akhenaten, the pharaoh who tried to erase the gods, not defeated by an invading army, not assassinated in a palace coup, not dragged from power in chains, but rejected, erased, almost deleted from history by his own civilization, because he attempted something no Egyptian king before him had dared to attempt. He tried to control the source of divine power itself. If the gods control Egypt, if harvest depends on them, if the Nile floods because of them, if victory in battle comes through them, if the king rules because they allow it, then one question becomes dangerous. Who controls the gods? That is where this story begins. This is Unblocked History, where the lives of people explain the rise and fall of civilizations. We are in Egypt, 14th century BCE, the New Kingdom. This is not the age of pyramid experiments. This is not fragile early monarchy. This is empire. Egypt stretches deep into Nubia. Its armies project power into Syria and Canaan. Foreign rulers send tribute. Gold flows along the Nile. Temples dominate city skylines. And inside those temples, a religious machine operates with precision. At the center of this machine stands Amun, a hidden god, mysterious, invisible, yet immensely powerful. His priesthood controls land, labor, storage facilities, grain, ships, workshops. They manage vast temple estates. They employ thousands. They command wealth that rivals the palace itself. And here is the subtle tension. The pharaoh is divine, but Amun's priesthood is institutional, and institutions can outlive kings. When Amenhotep IV ascends the throne, he inherits greatness. His father ruled successfully. The empire is stable. No crisis forces radical change, which makes what he does next even more shocking. He chooses revolution without collapse. He chooses disruption without invasion. He changes his name. Amenhotep. Amun is satisfied. Becomes Akhenaten, effective for the Aten. This is not symbolic. This is structural. Names in Egypt are power. To erase Amun from his own royal identity is a declaration. The Aten is not new. It is the visible sun disk. It has existed in hymns before, but it has never stood alone, never exclusive, never supreme. Akhenaten elevates it above all others. Not one god among many, but the focus of worship. Temples change first. No dark inner sanctuaries, no secret statues, no incense-filled chambers hidden from light. Instead, open courtyards, altars under the sky, offerings placed directly beneath the sun. The Aten does not dwell in mystery. It shines, visible to all. Then comes the real rupture. He suppresses the cult of Amun. Stone carvers are ordered to chisel Amun's name off monuments. Reliefs are hacked away. Temple revenues are redirected. Priests lose influence. Some lose positions. Some lose entire networks of authority. Imagine the scene. A priest of Amun in Thebes, standing before a wall that once bore his god's name, watching laborers strike it with chisels, each blow echoing in the courtyard, each fragment of stone falling like a piece of erased memory. This is not a theological debate. This is political displacement. What problem was Akhenaten trying to solve? Control of divine legitimacy. In Egypt, power flows from the gods. If many gods have powerful institutions, power disperses. If one god dominates, and only the king interprets him, power compresses. Akhenaten is not abolishing religion. He is reorganizing it. He is attempting to pull the spiritual infrastructure of Egypt directly into royal hands. To make this irreversible, he does something unprecedented. He builds a new capital, Akhenaten, horizon of the Aten, built on untouched land, no inherited priesthood, no ancient sanctuaries, no deep-rooted traditions. A city born from ideology, palaces oriented toward sunrise, administrative buildings aligned with solar light, boundary stele carved into cliffs, declaring the Aten's territory. Imagine thousands of workers relocating, artisans packing tools, scribes gathering papyrus, families leaving Thebes for a city still rising from desert dust. A civilization physically shifting its center. And then art changes. This is crucial. For centuries, Egyptian kings were depicted as eternal. Perfect bodies, ideal muscles, unchanging youth. Under Akhenaten, the body becomes strange. Elongated skull, narrow chest, rounded belly, wide hips. He is shown in intimate scenes, holding daughters, kissing them, sitting with Nefertiti beneath cascading rays of sunlight. The Aten's rays end in tiny hands, hands that offer life. This is revolutionary, because art is not decoration. Art teaches people what authority looks like. And now authority looks different. Human, exposed, chosen by light. The king becomes something new, not simply divine by tradition, but divine by exclusive interpretation. The Aten does not speak through priests. It shines, and only Akhenaten explains its meaning. Religious centralization becomes personal centralization. But how does this feel to ordinary people? In Thebes, temple workers lose wages. In provincial towns, small shrines receive less attention. Scribes must learn new hymns, new formulas, new names for the sun. A farmer stands in his field at dawn. He still needs the Nile to flood. He still fears illness. He still wants protection for his children. Before, he could pray to a local god, to a fertility goddess, to a protective spirit. Now the official message is clear. The Aten shines over all. But can the sun hear personal prayers? Can light alone replace familiar faces? Belief does not obey decrees. In homes, old amulets remain. Small figurines survive in corners. Whispers persist. Religion in Egypt is woven into childbirth, into burial rituals, into daily survival. Akhenaten controls monuments. He controls official ritual, but he cannot instantly reshape private devotion. Meanwhile, the empire strains. Letters from Canaan arrive, clay tablets pleading for support. Vassal rulers report attacks. Cities under threat. Requests for troops. Requests for gold. Some responses come slowly, some not at all. While foreign governors fight for survival, the king expands sun temples. This is the risk of ideological focus. When attention narrows at the center, edges can weaken. 17 years pass. not a short reign. Long enough to attempt transformation. Long enough to build a city. Long enough to alter art and ritual. But not long enough to reshape civilization permanently. Then, Akhenaten dies. No dramatic overthrow recorded. No epic final battle. Just death. And what follows is abrupt. Tutankhamun, a young successor, changes his name. Tutankhamun, the Aten is removed. Amun returns. Temples reopen. Priests regain estates. Statues are restored. Amarna is gradually abandoned. Stone blocks reused in later construction. Akhenaten's name excluded from official king lists. It is as if Egypt exhales, as if tension releases, as if balance reasserts itself. Why did it collapse so quickly? Because systems built around one man are fragile. Because belief embedded over centuries does not dissolve in a decade. Because institutions adapt and endure. Akhenaten moved faster than memory, faster than tradition, faster than social absorption. But his failure is revealing. Egyptian civilization was not static. It allowed experimentation. It allowed temporary revolution. But its core value was continuity. Balance between king and priesthood, between center and province, between cosmic order and cultural stability. Imhotep built permanence in stone. Ramses projected power in monuments. Akhenaten attempted to reshape metaphysics. He tried to compress the divine world into a single visible force, to simplify the cosmos, to eliminate rivals, to secure spiritual monopoly. For nearly 2 decades, one of the most powerful empires in the ancient world experimented with near monotheism, with radical centralization, with theological purification. That is extraordinary, not because it succeeded, but because it happened at all. Akhenaten exposed a limit, even an Egyptian pharaoh, with armies, with wealth, with architectural control, could not permanently erase inherited belief. He could move capitals. He could redefine art. He could silence priesthoods temporarily. But he could not uproot centuries of devotion. The sun continued to rise over the Nile. But after Akhenaten, it rose again over many gods. And that tells us something essential about Egypt. It was powerful, flexible, creative, but above all, it valued endurance. When a king tried to burn away tradition in a single lifetime, tradition waited and then returned.